In the infinite silence, the Essex drifts before a colossal beast that glimmers faintly. The captain gives the order. The harpoon shoots out, humming as it strikes, and the creature thrashes in fury. The ship's hull vibrates as the monster's tail scrapes the metal. Warning lights flicker, alarms wail, and the crew struggles with sputtering controls. The story momentarily leaves the starry void to place us in a very different setting. Lynn Navarro landed her hoverbike in front of a restaurant, right in the middle of a crucial mission that had hit a snag thanks to a pesky security guard at the entrance. Lynn, an agent with a secret organization known as ICE, which cracks down on illegal space hunters, was in contact with her team for further instructions. Inside the restaurant, a deal was going down between Captain Richard and a businessman named Ahab. Ahab had in his possession a map to the Hyperion constellation, and while many clickers, small space creatures, had been captured, no one had ever bagged a Tanong. Whoever managed to capture a Tanong would become incredibly wealthy. Richard, a skilled captain, was interested in the map, and Ahab wanted half the profits from hunting the Tian long in exchange for it. The map was on paper. Before the deal could be finalized, the guard at the door alerted his boss that they were being watched and accused Richard of treachery. In the ensuing chaos, Ahab's man attacked Richard, who fought back and managed to implant a small, parasitic alien worm into Ahab's head, driving him mad. Richard escaped with the map, saving his own skin. 3 months later, we find Richard and his crew embarking on a space expedition to hunt clickers. Alongside Richard was his younger brother Owen and 5 others, an old man named Hawthorne, who was Richard's father's former partner, a pilot named Ragsland, an engineer, Stubniski, and Batal and Harpo, each with their specific roles. Lynn had joined the crew undercover, with them unaware of her affiliation with ICE. Their mission was to capture these alien clicker creatures and transport them back to Earth. Their ship was equipped with hyperdrive technology, allowing them to travel at the speed of light and reach another solar system in a matter of days. During the journey, Lynn gathered information on everyone on board to understand their weaknesses. 24 years ago, Richard's father ventured to the Hyperion constellation to capture a Tanong, but never returned, presumed lost to the massive creature. Richard had deeply loved his father, and since childhood, yearned to follow in his footsteps and complete his father's unfinished mission. However, he had not yet undertaken a quest to capture a Tanong himself. After a few days of travel, the crew left their base and, guided by the map, arrived at a location teeming with clicker-like creatures. Harpo, Owen, and Hawthorne donned their advanced spacesuits and carried a box and stones that attracted the clickers. They easily captured many clickers in the box, but one managed to escape. Owen chased after it, but suddenly, a bright light illuminated the area. Owen crashed into a rock and lost consciousness due to the unexpected glare. After the bright light faded, the appearance of the Tianlong, a creature of ancient legends now witnessed firsthand by the crew, marked a pivotal moment in their journey. This mysterious being revealed itself briefly before vanishing once again. Richard and the others successfully rescued Owen and brought him back to the ship. Meanwhile, Batali, the cook, prepared a meal for everyone, and Lynn took the opportunity to weave a fantastical tale about the Tianlong. She described this creature as a guardian of celestial portals, existing in both black and white space, and warned of the dangers of harming it. Richard, however, jokingly urged Lynn to come back to reality, insisting that the Tianlong was just an animal and nothing more. With the clickers already captured and everyone eager to return home and enjoy their newfound wealth, the captain hesitated to give the order to depart, sensing the presence of the Tianlong nearby. Meanwhile, Lynn discreetly sent a message to her team, as her mission was to gather information about the Tianlong. Unbeknownst to her, the signal was intercepted by thieves who quickly tracked their location. Within hours, the thieves arrived, armed and ready to plunder. Concerned for the safety of the women on board, Captain Richard instructed Ragsland and Batali to hide in a secret compartment within the ship. Faced with armed thieves, fleeing or fighting wasn't a viable option, so Richard chose to surrender, but not without a plan. He secretly planted a tracking device among the cargo, intending to recover the stolen goods, specifically the space creatures known as clickers. Later, a thief named Boomer infiltrated their ship. Richard chose not to confront them while Lynn, separated from the other women, became a target. Boomer harassed her, aware that Lynn's earlier message had led them there, and removed the tracking tag, presenting it to Richard as evidence of betrayal among them. The crew was devastated by this revelation. After looting the ship of all its supplies and cargo, the raiders took control of its systems to prevent any distress signal. Once they left, Richard blamed Lin for their losses and ordered Harpo to arrest her. Now stranded without food or creatures to take back home, they faced a desperate situation. The Tian, lurking nearby, presented a formidable challenge, far more difficult than capturing clickers. Despite their losses, Richard devised a strategy for his team. They were already prepared for such setbacks, believing a single attempt could lead them to capture this enormous creature. Bringing the Tian back to Earth promised immense wealth, potentially transforming their fortunes. Stranded for many months, their determination to succeed remained unwavering. Owen hesitated to capture the creature because his father had perished in a previous attempt. Richard, motivated by a desire for revenge, questioned Owen's reluctance, attributing his father's death to the creature. Owen had more complex feelings. He blamed his father for abandoning his sick mother, which strained their relationship. Richard, annoyed by Owen's perspective, argued that Owen didn't fully understand his father. Their disagreement intensified when Owen became aware of Richard's change of plans and lack of communication, which he discovered while confiding in Lin, for whom he had feelings. The two brothers were in a heated argument when suddenly, a valuable substance coated their spaceship. This substance, emanating from the Tianlong's body, brought them unexpected joy as it compensated for their previous losses. Richard excitedly informed the group, and everyone put on their spacesuits to go out and collect it. However, just as they were gathering the substance, the raiders returned for another attack. Everyone except Richard was outside retrieving the substance, so he urgently called them back due to a hyperdrive malfunction that required their immediate departure. As everyone rushed back, Harpo lingered outside, determined to take a clicker with him. As Richard prepared to leave without him, the engineer Stub Niski miraculously repaired the hyperdrive, allowing Harpo to board the ship in time before Boomer and his men could destroy it. The hyperdrive activated, instantly transporting them to another part of space, and upon angrily confronting the captain, Harpo accused Richard of nearly abandoning him. But Richard explained that he had ordered everyone back, and Harpo had delayed. Hawthorne intervened to end the argument, revealing that the raiders had lost their signal in the chaos, making it impossible to track them down if they got lost. Although the crew could have returned home, they had broken the rules, and Lin, the ice agent, was still on board despite acquiring the precious substance. They faced the risk of being captured upon their return. Richard confronted Lin, questioning her presence and the reasons why she was spying on everyone. On the other hand, Stubniski, the engineer, was securing the mechanisms when he noticed a small alien worm parasite on his hand. While attempting to remove it, the worm managed to enter his body, leaving him terrified. Later, we see him washing himself with boiling water in an attempt to kill the alien bugs that now infested him. Unfortunately, they had already begun to lay eggs inside him, and their numbers were increasing. Stubniski resorted to self-harm to try to rid himself of the parasites. When Richard questioned Lin about her presence on the ship, she revealed that it had been her mission for the past few years. Her task was to monitor every spaceship that hunted creatures in space, especially those like the Tianlong. Richard's father was the only one known to have ventured into the part of space where he encountered the Tianlong, which led to his mysterious death. Lin had developed a deep fascination with the Tianlong and revered its stories, determined to protect it from any harm. Despite Lin's warnings, Richard was consumed by a burning desire for revenge. Amidst the unfolding events, it was discovered that Ragsland and Harpo were romantically involved. When Batali, Harpo's wife, found out about their affair, she revealed to Harpo that she was 3 months pregnant. At first, Harpo hesitated about having a child due to the challenges involved, but he eventually accepted and began to focus on his family's future. His priorities shifted towards caring for his child, wife, and himself in an effort to secure their future wealth. He also decided to steal the valuable substance they had found, intending to use it later. Lin remained imprisoned on the ship, but after Richard departed, she somehow managed to escape. Harpo discovered her, and they engaged in a physical altercation. Lin managed to incapacitate Harpo momentarily, but Stubbs' intervention distracted her, allowing Harpo to hit her on the head and knock her unconscious before securing her confinement again. Harpo promptly informed Richard about the incident, revealing Lin's attempt to tamper with the ship's oxygen supply. After several hours, they arrived at the Hyperion star system. Stubnisky, whose mind was increasingly affected by the alien worms, inadvertently released the clickers from their containment, which raised Richard's suspicions about a possible betrayal by Harpo. However, Hawthorne vouched for Harpo's reliability, based on their 6 years of working together. Still, tensions remained high among the crew. A freed clicker moved to attack Lynn, leading Richard to intervene just in time, using the cargo to eliminate the clicker and saving Lynn's life in the process. He was only trying to protect everyone. Despite his pain, Richard decided to return home. However, they noticed that Stubnisky had disappeared, unaware that alien parasites had infected him, driving him to madness. Lynn advocated eliminating him to ensure everyone's safety, as the raiders had seized the ship's weapons. With only an ancient sword available, Richard entrusted it to Lynn for her defense. With a single escape pod available, Harpo planned to flee with his wife and tried to recruit Ragsland for his escape plan, but she, loyal to Richard, refused to betray her captain. Meanwhile, their ship faced hostile and mysterious environments, suffering system failures and pursued by Boomer and his gang. Amidst the chaos, the Tian reappeared, wreaking havoc and severely damaging their ship, although, thanks to Ragsland's quick action, they managed to save it, while the Tian destroyed Boomer and his cruise ship. On the ship, Lynn desperately searched for Stubnisky, now infected and dangerous. When she finally found him, a violent struggle ensued, resulting in Lynn cutting off Stubnisky's hand, who managed to escape. Meanwhile, Harpo finalized his escape plan, determined to abandon everyone else, including his wife. In the middle of a shower, Stubnisky, completely dominated by the alien parasites, murdered Raglan. Lynn arrived just in time to witness the carnage and used the sword to attack Stanicy in the airlock. Harpo confronted Hawthorne about his selfish plan, which led to a fatal altercation where Harpo was killed. As their ship faced another attack from the monstrous creature, Richard, driven by revenge for his brother and father, confronted it, though his valiant efforts were not enough, and he too fell in battle. Just before the ship's destruction, Lynn managed to lock herself in the escape pod, which detached from the ship. Hawthorne, the sole survivor, witnessed the death of all his companions and the destruction of their ship as the wormhole reopened, with both the creature and Lynn disappearing from sight. Hawthorne, trapped in his suit with oxygen running out, faced his inevitable death, marking a tragic end for everyone involved. Months later, another spaceship embarked on a mission to find their lost companions. Unexpectedly, a wormhole ejected Lynn's escape pod. Lynn, who had always advocated for the protection of the Tian emerged as the sole survivor of the fateful expedition. The film concludes with this shocking twist.